Hello and welcome to Lifestyle. I'm Gordon Lancaster.
And I'm Sanita Shroff. Coming up on today's programme, you can look forward to the coolest cats in dance, the Twilight Players.
We'll be meeting our young up-and-coming film directors, and you'll also get a little taste of the very different sounds of a young singer called Malay. During the 70s, locking and popping was developed in California, sparking a dance craze that spread across America and the world.
For a long time I felt without style or grace, wearing shoes with no socks, in cold weather, I knew my heart.
This particular style of dance kind of like began in America, but there's elements of it from all over the world. I mean, there's like elements like from capoeira, which is Brazilian dancing. There's Indian elements in there. There's elements from like even like Cossack Russian dancing, all kinds of stuff. But particularly, it started in America, in New York, and there's another flavour that came from LA. The LA style was more like it's called pop locking and boogaloo.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall.
Like a lot of the kids back then, some took to breaking, and some took to popping, and we were obviously always on the popping side of things. Like I said, at that period in time, everybody was dancing. I would safely say, in every town, in every city in England, people were dancing. Obviously, some were better than others, and there was definitely this movement that was going on. So yeah, we would practice everywhere. After school, at school. I mean, I was dancing all the time. Twilight East took us all over Europe, America. I mean, Twilight East was my life for the next sort of 5-6 years, I learned a lot of things from Jeffrey. You got to understand, I mean, I went to LA with Jeffrey, I was 16. And to say to Mum and Dad, I'm going to LA tomorrow, literally, obviously he was an influence, but he was a good influence. He didn't smoke, he didn't drink. It's completely different than how, people see it now. He was like a sort of an older brother, character and a teacher, but he was such a good influence.
Now, when we think of Asian film directors, we often think of Bollywood, because that's the world's largest producing film industry. But how many Asian directors can we think of who are currently working in the British film industry?
Actually, there are a growing number who are using their Asian influences to create a more diverse and more exciting style of filmmaking.
For those who have already overcome the hurdle of getting their scripts into the right hands and who have already managed to get funding, these are the people currently enriching the British film industry. Asif Kapadia, Kaisad Gustad and Alia Saeed have done just that.
I got into filmmaking really by chance. I studied graphic design originally, and kind of arts and graphic design, and a friend asked me to do a favour and help out on a film they were making, a short film. So I just went along as a runner. After that I was asked to work on another one and another one and another one. I just decided on the side to start making my own movies.
Well, the reason I got into film really was because I grew up in a little village in India in a small town called Wadi in Karnataka, and we had our own cinema in this town. And from a very young age I grew up on Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton and the Keystone Cops and all that kind of stuff. It was a great education for me. The cinema became my classroom. So the only thing I ever wanted to do with my life was to make film. I was about 21, I got admission and a scholarship into NYU Film School, and I went to New York to study film. Where I spent a great deal of time and made a whole bunch of short films.
I studied at University of East London. I did fine art, and initially I was just very excited about the equipment that was there. They had a lot of film equipment, especially the printer and the processor, and the fact that you could process your own film. So I got very interested in processing my own film, and the fact that I became very aware that film is a material, and I liked the physical aspect of processing it and cutting it.
concept of Streetlight Periphery is to promote and bring together artists from the South Asian gay and lesbian community, and really to promote their work as a collective identity.
As an artist practicing within London, I think part of the work that I do has to be, for me personally, has to be in shows such as this, which is a South Asian queer show, because part of my work immediately translates into that agenda and into that debate. Most importantly, it's basically saying, it's stating something that we're here to stay and this is part of our world and you have to include it. And because you don't include it, therefore we are constantly going to be doing our own shows.
What's a nice Indian boy like you doing in a place like this?
Hello, I'm Jiva and I'm a performing artist. I started initially by learning dance when I was about 15.
Religious buildings are unique structures that become landmarks of the environment. These landmarks embody the identity and capture the soul and spirit of the society. They also represent exactly how society perceives itself to be. How does this architecture of past civilizations reflect and determine the special qualities inherent in Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims today? Here we are at the Nisan Temple in London. It's the UK's most visited mandir. Although it was built just 3 years ago, thousands of people have come from across the world to visit and appreciate its awe-inspiring beauty.
It started off by choosing the marble and the limestone. In Bulgaria, the limestone came, and from Italy, the marble came, and it was shipped directly to India.
Gateways and halls, domes, pinnacles has to be made according to the Silp Shastra, and then and only it becomes a dwelling for God. The wooden carvings which you are looking at here is very old carvings. They stopped doing these carvings about 100 years ago.